All right, go ahead.
I'm getting this on record right now. I guarantee that me and Lonnie picked the same thing on all three movies, as far as like likes and dislikes. I guarantee it.
Exactly. This is why
I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
You think so? I don't know, buddy. I don't know about See You Yesterday. We might have some differing opinions.
Okay. I think
Hey,
me and Daryl are the same on See You Yesterday.
I'm standing by. I'm not pinpointing any movie between Django, Glory, or See You Yesterday. All I'm saying is, with all three, I guarantee me and Lonnie choose the same. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you know what? We'll find out right now. All right. Welcome everybody to Dumbass Film Students. I'm D.A. Henry. What is this? Our third time trying, I think, with our special guest here, Belle. First, let me introduce everyone, and then I'll get to our guests. On my screen, I'm going to start with going to my left with Mr. Rudy Wilson. How's it going, Rudy?
What's popping?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. I'm surprised. I'm surprised.
That was popping wasn't really for you. It was more for the audience. But I'm glad you answered. So that's cool.
Hey, man, I thought we would have back and forth before, we got a little bit.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. You're right.
What are you drinking? Orange juice?
Water, actually.
Oh my.
Straight from the tap into the filtered pitcher, refrigerator, my cup, in that order.
You know what? I can't even be mad at that. I really I have a filter jug as well. I got it for we got it for our wedding, and it's really handy. Don't have to go get no water bottles at all.
Yeah, no, for sure. I love it.
And then I'm introduce Mr. Lonnie Cox. How's it going?
Going very well. How are you? I just I was involved in a hit and run car. Did you guys see that on my Instagram?
No. Wow.
Somebody hit my car and ran away.
Like, were you inside the car or?
Yes. I was I was stopped at a red light and some guy like scraped the whole left side of my car and then jumped the curb and ran away. But I got a picture of his license plate.
Oh, that was
wow.
Yeah.
First of all, was that because you were doing like a texting driving type of thing?
No, I was.
Or are you just that bad?
That's what my grandma did. Like, were you texting? And I'm like, no, I was stopped.
He was like, I was already shooting a podcast, and I was able to catch his. I was able to catch his license before he drove off. Gotcha. No, that's deep.
But it was funny. Like I posted it on Reddit, and one guy was like, "Why no video?" And I was like, "Well, next time I'm in a high stress situation, right. Less than 3 seconds." I'll be sure to get video of it, buddy.
Tell the dude to come back. Hey, we need another take. Scrape the side of my car again.
I missed it. Can you come back? The lighting was off.
Lighting was off. Couldn't get your face. That's crazy. Jesus.
Honestly, for those of you out there, I actually just drove home from Arizona, making a trip. I was starting my trip on the road. There was this huge F-150 swerving back and forth, and I usually make the same stop to get some gas right before I get on the actual highway. They almost hit me. You know how if you hit the back tire of somebody, you spin out and flip over.
Yep.
They almost hit me like that, and I was like, Shania was sleeping. I was left all alone trying to do it.
What you gonna wake her up and do? Hey, look, he trying to hit me. You still gotta drive. We just gonna scare both of y'all.
I know, but at least we both will be scared, not me just sitting there.
Man, selfish.
I don't want to die alone, Rudy.
This man selfish.
But we do have a special guest. She's a wonderful actor.
Oh, I'm a special guest?
Yeah, she's a special guest.
Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't know y'all were already. Oh, I didn't know that Lonnie was. I thought he was a guest too.
The white guy. You know what? It's a good thing we watched these two movies today because this deals with both. This is a racist podcast already. I see where this is going.
What?
Well, use specific language about why I appear to be a guest.
Because you're a comedian.
I'm so sorry, Lonnie. I thought we were in this together. I was like, okay, we both new to the show. Okay.
She thought this was just black men. A white male and a female definitely got to be guests.
Oh my. Okay.
That is hilarious.
Well, besides her start, but she's still a wonderful actor.
She's a better actor than a real person. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right, she's a wonderful actor. She's an amazing writer. Miss Belle Guillory. No, her name is.
Thank you.
How you pronounce your last name?
Guillory.
Guillory. Gotcha.
French, you know.
I was just making fun.
French. Gotcha.
Well, thank you guys for having me today.
Well,
Are you Haitian or are you French?
So on my mom's side, there's Creole.
Creole. Gotcha.
You know, Louisiana.
Louisiana. I was about that. Are you from there?
Her side of the family is.
What part?
Lafayette.
Lafayette. Gotcha. Dope.
I don't know what that's in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's a city in Louisiana. Mm-hmm.
I only know
Raging Cajuns.
The Raging Cajun. Yeah, if you watch college football, you definitely heard Lafayette. That's for sure. But yeah, it's a city there. I used to date a girl that was from Baton Rouge. I've been to Baton Rouge before.
Didn't you go to school in Georgia?
Yes, but this was when I was in the Army. I don't know what.
Oh, okay.
Do you think I'm 12 years old or something? I've lived a life, sir. I've lived a life, okay?
I thought you were stationed in Georgia, if I don't recall.
No, sir. I was stationed in D.C.
Well,
I drove 17 hours.
We're not here about you. We're here about.
You're absolutely correct.
So, Belle, tell us about how you got into filmmaking.
Well, it
journey.
all started long ago as a young girl. I'm just kidding. Film in general, I feel like just watching movies growing up. I've always been a fan of comedies, so that's why I'm like, oh, y'all are all comedians? Well, make me laugh. I'm ready. And back in the day, Martin Lawrence, all the classics, the 90s. That era.
First of all, how old are you? What's considered your back in the day? 24?
Don't play me. I mean, back in the day for me, yeah, I guess would be 90s. Like that era, I think.
But you had you still kind of was a kid even with like the.
Yeah.
You might 90s, early 2000s.
Well, we have aunties, okay? My aunt was like 10 years older than me. So she was like, when I'm 6, she's like 16. So it's like anything that she was doing or whatever that I was into. But yeah, that really got me into it. But at first I started as acting until I went to NIFA. Did all 3 of you guys go?
No.
Where you guys went. And then I realized like, man, acting, they're kind of just, puppets are being told what to do. I was like, I like to write. I like to filmmake. I like putting my hand in it all. So yeah, and Issa Rae inspired me to really get into that more too.
Issa Rae.
Can I ask a question? Why do you use the word? Why do you think they're puppets? Why do you think actors are puppets?
Because so I guess it was like one of the first few days I was there. It's like everyone's telling them what to do. And I'm more of a person, I like to tell people what to do. So I was just like, oh, man.
But I'm saying, but telling them what to do in the sense of like, this is how I want you to act out. You mean like on screen, or you mean like?
I thought it was just a limit of creativity. All directors are different.
Okay.
Don't
Right.
give actors more creativity. But in that aspect, since we were all beginning filmmakers, I think they took it more of a different route.
Mm-hmm.
But we're all there to learn, so I can't hold that against them. But yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I hear that the acting department is a little hard at NIFA. Is that true? Or?
Is it hard at NIFA, the acting department?
Yeah.
I think it could be harder, actually. Teachers are kind of, I feel like they don't want to hurt people's feelings because it's everyone's art, it's everyone's craft, and how you act out, you know. I feel like they don't want to step on any toes and be like, oh no, you can't act.
But that's kind of the same way on the filmmaking side, because they don't necessarily like shit on our idea. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like if you got a bad idea, they'll just help you structure correctly that terrible idea. They're not gonna be like, yo, this movie's gonna bomb. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't do that. So I think that's just because it's an educational space. And, you know, and people are paying their money. It's like we're not here to control what they want to make. It's just the proper format in which to do it. So I think, you know, it's probably just plays both ways, in my opinion.
I do have a question. You said I have two questions. You said well, first, what is your favorite movie?
So my favorite movie, would have to be, I like inspirational stuff. So I would probably say like Lion King. I'm just kidding, Lion King in the Disney aspect.
Lion King is definitely.
The Happiness. And have you guys seen Pride with Terrence Howard? That's like about.
I've seen Pride, yeah.
Seen that? So I like.
Dia don't watch black movies.
I don't watch black movies.
He's not a fan.
Okay, well let me dab. Let me dab.
Yeah, no, but Pride, no, I definitely seen Pride. Me and Lonnie
you said
seen
Pride. Oh, I thought you said Bride. You know, like you bride.
Yeah, with Terrence Howard.
Yeah, no, I seen Pride. It was about the boys who swimming, Rudy. I know that one.
Yeah.
The boys who swimming, huh? That's what you call black people, boys, huh?
Yeah,
that's how you feel.
Boys.
DA's actually the special guest.
There's two.
How could you not see it? It was him. He's the one that's. I'm just kidding.
So settle this debate for us. You know, in earlier podcasts, you know, Lonnie and Rudy are clearly older than me. You know.
How old are you?
I turned 31 in November.
Okay.
I'm also 30.
See, they're 40. They're 40, right? So, so we were having this debate about which movies are better in the 90s or the 2000s. I mean, and you, just like me, had both.
First of all, it's kids' movies specifically. It wasn't just movies.
Yeah.
Right. It was kids' movies.
If we're talking about kids' movies, then yeah, definitely the 90s.
Definitely the 90s. She said definitely the 90s is what she said.
Oh, my God. All right, never mind. I don't want to ask the question.
Exactly. No, she said the debate. She said
The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Lion King, Toy Story 2. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
All right.
The Land Before Time.
At least tell me this. Did the 2000
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Right. I mean,
2000 have hits.
Did the 2000 have hits?
Yes. Not the 2010s. We talking about 2000.
The 2000s did. We're not saying that.
They did.
You got Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo was a great movie.
Monsters Inc. Finding Nemo. What else?
What year did Finding Nemo come out? Like 2008 or something?
3.
That early? I thought it came out.
Cars was like mediocre at best.
At best.
It was new of its kind though. You gotta.
I never seen Cars. I never watched.
Cars is good. It's just it does not hold a candle to Toy Story.
Oh, definitely. I don't think anything Pixar do is gonna be better than maybe Dinosaur is up there with
Dinosaur or Good Dinosaur?
Oh, the Good Dinosaur. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh.
It's up there with Toy Story, and maybe it definitely up, but you know I don't think I don't think anything is gonna be close to what Toy Story was.
You always bring up, and like Up is a good movie, but it's not like one of the first one that comes to mind.
Wall-E is way better than Up to me.
Yeah, like Up is not like phenomenal. It's good. Like I enjoyed it. I'm not saying it's trash at all, but it wasn't. On what part?
The beginning and the end when this old man.
The montage of the life, and then she died eventually. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, she died. First of all, she couldn't have.
First of all, it's a cartoon. okay? Why are you crying? Why? Like, if you don't cry with any cartoon, I can understand if it's like Mufasa and Simba situation. But
if you don't cry watching Coco, you're a psychopath.
This lady, she lived a full enough life, okay? She got a house that could float with balloons and shit. She's fine. Fucking Simba almost got killed and got his father killed in front of him by his uncle. That's a crying moment.
Enough life. She didn't get the kids she wanted. She couldn't go on the adventure because shit kept happening.
She was white. She was fun. I'm just kidding.
You're not kidding that much.
I'm just kidding. I'm not, but it's just a cartoon. That's why I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. But, not every joke, but most. But no. I fuck with Up. I'm not saying that it was bad. I don't dislike it at all. But it's not in my top, tier of when I think about like animated movies. Go ahead.
The 90s and the 2000 kids movies. I'm sorry, it's not a comparison, dude. Pocahontas, Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh my gosh.
You guys are only naming Disney movies.
Well, okay, so go ahead. Okay, Matilda, The Big Green, Little Giants.
Oh my God, absolutely. Little Giants. Phenomenal. Matilda, phenomenal. Come on, man.
With Little Giants, I would have gave
Baby's Day Out. The fuck out of here. The Addams Family.
Family sucks.
Fucking Blank Check.
Oh yeah.
Fucking Smart House.
Smart House.
You're done. Johnny.
You're done. Johnny Tsunami. Oh my God. I'm sure with That Darn Cat. I'm just naming stuff I remember at this point. I don't even know if I've seen that one.
Winston checks in. That's it. You're done. It's a wrap.
Let's just move on.
The First Kid with Sinbad.
The First Kid. The Mask. Jumanji.
They also made Little Richie.
Little Richie.
Oh,
Who? Richie Rich.
Richie Rich?
Richie Rich. Yeah.
Little Richie.
I said the singer. I said the singer. Don't judge me.
He done turned Macaulay Culkin into a black kid.
That just made the movie Richie Rich a lot better.
I can imagine him playing the piano.
Rudy, is it too late to cancel the film that you're working on? Because I just got a great idea. Little Richie.
Hey, don't judge me. You know what?
Macaulay Culkin with a Jerry curl.
Oh my God. Yo,
everything.
that is hilarious. Little Richie. Oh man. No, that would be funny though. A black version of Richie Rich, that would be funny. As a comedy, that would be funny. But, I'm in tears. I'm sorry.
Back to Belle. All right.
Especially since I was gonna say The Sandlot.
The Sandlot fire. Absolutely.
Definitely. Number 2 is actually not that bad if you've seen it. But where do you see yourself when it comes to film? What do you want to do?
I would definitely see myself probably along the lines of Issa Rae, writing my own show, acting in it, writing multiple shows. I'm really more into TV, I would say, than film.
Okay.
Like writing wise, because that's a.
Is it because it's a shorter format, or is it?
Yeah, and TV just resonates with me more. It's more that we can put out and stuff like that. Longevity. I would love to have a show that lasts like.
More content too.
More content, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, this doesn't matter, but I just thought of this. I had a teacher actually at NAPA say, if you want to be a famous actor, do movies. If you want to be a rich actor, do TV. And if you want to be a good actor, do theater. And money don't sound that bad, you know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, you can never go wrong with money, right? Right.
But I really like TV.
Lonnie here. I was bringing that up. I thought we were still being racist because you're a Jew. But
I didn't even hear what you said.
I say you can never go wrong with that, right, Lonnie? And then
Oh, oh.
Let me continue.
Hey, just real quick, not to take the attention off of anything, but I just want to throw one more movie in there, Mighty Ducks. I'm done. I'm sorry.
That's good.
I'm sorry.
Are you Googling these movies?
I'm
I know
I'm not. I'm texting, but it was.
you sitting there. Hey, what movies you know from the 90s? Yeah.
I had thought of it, but you had already moved on, and I didn't want to be rude, so I thought that was just a good time to throw it in there. I'm sorry.
Okay. I don't know if anybody else have any questions for her at all.
I do have one question. What was it when it came down to Issa Rae? Is it Insecure specifically, or have you like followed her entire career, like from the internet stuff and everything?
Yeah, because actually, back when I was in school, so I was probably like 19, 20. I was trying to do YouTube, like with a friend, like doing skits and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And someone was like, hey, you should watch this girl. She made like a whole web series. And this was way before Insecure. And so I started watching it and I was like, whoa, I could do this too. Like, this is so much fun. And then years later, I find out that girl is now Insecure. Like, she got to do with HBO and all this stuff. So I was like,
right.
Insecure is actually a pretty good show. I don't know.
No, it is good. And I've seen quite a bit of it through all 4 seasons. I haven't seen every single episode, but I've seen a majority of all the episodes in each season, basically.
Right.
Enough to know what's going on. I enjoyed it.
Right.
They have a lot of sex.
You know what?
Really
Oh, I got a good question for you guys. So, Shania's been watching Girlfriends most recently.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I think Girlfriends is pretty much the black version of Sex and the City. But my question is, because I know these 2 shows that I'm about to mention are hits, like in the black community. I don't know if you've seen them long yet, but so which is better, Girlfriends or Living Single?
I'm not a big like multi-camera sitcom kind of guy, so I don't really watch those kind of shows.
No,
but if I'm not mistaken, I think Girlfriends might have come out before Sex and the City, so Sex and the City might be a white version of that.
Well, the way I've seen it. I technically watched pretty much all of Sex and the City. I haven't seen all of Girlfriends.
I know you don't watch black shows, but the thing about it is,
I'm just kidding. But in general.
No, for me, I seen both Living Single and Girlfriends. The only reason I'm going to pick Girlfriends, I'm not going to say it's necessarily a better show, but I just understood it more because by the time it came out, I was a little older than when Living Single was out. I was a little younger watching it. So the adult humor and all that, I didn't get it. You know, I didn't even know what they were talking about. I just watched it. You know what I'm saying? So I think for me, just from my current understanding, I would just choose Girlfriends.
I chose Living Single mainly because I like the opening title, opening song. You know, I felt like they were jamming on "We Are Living."
Okay.
I thought it was jam. Do you have an opinion, Belle?
So me personally, this is probably bad because I'm the only black girl up in here, but I don't like either one of those.
Well, you say you never watched them or you don't like them?
I never watched them, like, growing up. I think, like...
I get some credit because I seen them, so I guess...
But that's fair, but you're also, not that much younger, but you're younger, though. She's young.
You saying...
I'm saying she's young for both of those shows. Like, I'm saying, like...
You saying
like,
I will say, for Living Single, I know, like, I think the writer for it, she was, like, the first black woman to write a TV show, actually. So I think Living Single, was first.
Yeah, no,
it was definitely first, but I'm saying, but for both of those shows, I can understand if you never seen them. It's not like that, like, it's not like you were 15 years old when they came out and you just ignored it. Like, you were a kid. Or if not born.
She had BET at home, I'm pretty sure every black family had BET.
I don't think Living Single came on BET, though. You're so racist. You're so
Maybe
racist.
It's on there now, so maybe it's time difference, but.
All right, can we just talk about the movies instead of?
All right, go ahead. You gonna give her a pass, but it's okay. It's all right.
This TV journey that's taking us down. Belle, did you have anything else that you wanted to let us know about yourself before we moved on?
No, I don't think so.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Well, let's get into these movies. Three very, very interesting picks in their own right. Shout out to all the filmmakers who made these movies. Everybody involved, all the actors, writers, directors, cinematographers, so on and so forth. You know, you got the film done. Congratulations. You know, our opinions are just our opinions. We're not trying to rain in your parade. But, you know, this is just our little podcast. So here we go. We're going to start off with The Django, directed by, well, Django, I know it's pronounced, Quentin Tarantino, starring Jamie Foxx, Leonardo DiCaprio, Christopher Waltz.
The D is silent.
I'm aware. It was a joke, sir. Thank you.
I was quoting a line from the movie. I was trying to be cool.
Oh! I didn't even catch that. But I think I responded how the white dude did. So he was like angrily saying, I know. We just reversed roles. Well, yeah, Django. Like I said, yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jamie Foxx, Christopher Waltz, Samuel Jackson, host of other people. I guess so. We'll start here. So basically on the count of three, Belle, I'll count to three, and everybody will just give a quick little thumbs up, thumbs down. This would just basically answer the question of if you thought this was a good movie overall or a bad movie overall. Now, this does not have to dictate what your feedback is. If you have things that you disliked about it, even though you liked it, feel free to, splurt it out. All right, so here we go. Django, on the count of three. Thumbs up or thumbs down. 1, 2, and 3. Boom. Figured as much. Okay.
Even though Rudy has a problem with Quentin Tarantino saying the N-word in every movie.
He does.
But he only says it. He uses it properly. He doesn't.
No. First of all, let me be clear on my argument. I'm saying Quentin Tarantino always puts himself in his own movies, and his character always says "nigga." That's what I'm saying. It's not just about the words that are being said throughout. I'm talking about his little cameo that he always makes. That character always says "nigga," and I don't understand why. Now, I will say Django is my favorite Tarantino movie. Yes. I said this. I kind of mentioned it last week, and I'll say it again. As great of a job as Jamie Foxx did, he was the star. He was the hero, so on and so forth. He was outacted by everybody else on screen. Like, this cast was phenomenal. This was a phenomenal cast. Like, and I will give, I guess, out of the DP or Tarantino, whoever came up with it, credit. They used a crane to perfection in this movie. Like, the different crane shots they had my favorite one was when Samuel L. Jackson was first coming out the house, and they craned down, and he was like, "Yeah, I missed you like, a rock in my shoe," and whatever. And they craned all the way down until he was on the other side of the carriage. Leonardo DiCaprio sitting to the right, and Lawyer sitting to the left, and it lands right on frame with them two in the shot, Samuel L. Jackson in the shot, and then Django and the dentist on the horses in the back. And like that all in one shot, conversation never breaking. And they had a fairly long conversation. Samuel L. Jackson, that's when he turned around and was, and was saying, like, what you say to me, and blah, 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 and fussing back and forth with Leonardo about why he should be on the horse and so on and forth. That whole scene, to me, I thought was just executed very, very well. I'm going to split this out, and then I'm done. This is my only discrepancy with Django. This is just the only part that I didn't get, and I didn't get it because they made such a point to make it a thing. So they would have times throughout the movie where Django, being a slave, would not understand what a word meant. He was like, "Are you positive?" I don't know. You're not sure you're positive? I don't know what positive means, right?
Right.
But then the doctor would go use some big supercalifragilisticexpialidocious word, and Django knows exactly what that means. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll use some big-ass word in a sentence and it won't even break stride, but then they'll make a point to point out he didn't know what positive meant.
What? But
like,
wasn't that at the beginning that he did?
No, that's what I'm saying. I thought that too. I thought because he eventually progressed, but I'm telling you, even at times when the doctor and them first met, like, the doctor was always very articulate, very intelligent with his words. You know what I'm saying? He never dumbed down just because he was talking to a slave. You know what I'm saying? Like, Django was a slave. Right. It don't matter how good of a shooter and all this other fantastic. He was a slave. He wasn't some, you know, free man who was taken. Like, he was a slave. You know what I'm saying? So with him being as sharp as he is, I get it. You know, gradually over time, learning how to shoot, whatever, even kind of naturally having it. But not that it wasn't life or death for me, but I just noticed that, I mean, even just the way they, Kerry Washington. I mean, even at her worst in the movie, like, she was still the most gorgeous slave you'd ever see. Like, she didn't look like a slave. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I felt like just at times, like, there was just, you know, because the story was moving along with what was actually more important, what was considered, I guess, slave-like was just a little, you know,
I think
left out.
Because I believe it's based off of a comic book. So I think they were, with the characters that they chose, they were being a little, if you want to say, caricature.
Right. I seen and understood the humor. Like, I mean, even with the fighting scenes is obviously comic book like. I mean, people are flying, doing shot, paint, blood spilling out. Like, I got that whole thing, but I'm just saying, like, they made a point to say that Django doesn't understand certain words because of he's a slave. But then there will be other words that, in my mind, if he don't understand what positive means, he definitely shouldn't know what this word means. You know what I'm saying? But he did, and that's what I'm saying. It wasn't consistent all the way throughout. But once again, that wasn't life or death. I'm not saying that one thing ruined the movie for me. That was just my only discrepancy.
I would have to ask, since we all like the movie, and I'm not gonna say that. So, which was your favorite character and your favorite scene of the movie?
Lamy and Belle, they still haven't talked about, like, what they, how they felt about the film.
Well, I haven't either, but it's okay.
Well, I'm saying you too, but I'm saying, like, before you move to a specific like that, I want to get everybody's feedback, just to, Belle, go ahead. You got it.
Oh, I can go. I love the film too. I really like it, but I guess for me, well, I guess I'll start with the good. So, of course, the cinematography is great. The acting's great. I was going to answer your question. Leonardo DiCaprio is great in it. I think you guys probably heard it too. Like, he really, like, did that to his hand with the blood coming down and stuff, and, like, just going, like, pretty incredible. I guess for me, but this is Quintino's style, which I'm learning. It's like Hateful Eight and a few other things. Just the gore and stuff. But then again, I'm kind of sensitive to that. So this is just like a personal opinion. The gore and stuff, I'm like, does it have to be? But it's relevant to the time. Like, it wasn't beautiful back then either, with the whippings or anything like that, or the blood. So I understood that. But for me, that was probably my only thing. But that's like a personal thing.
Right.
I actually like Quentin Tarantino, the way he goes violent, over the top, because that, if you're gonna go violent. Like, you have a lot of these movies now where we just kind of whitewash violence. Like, a good example is like the Avengers, right? So you'll have these, like, the entire city of New York City is getting destroyed, but everybody's okay at the end. Like, Iron Man might have, like, a little scratch on his eye. You're, like, desensitizing people to this, like, huge amounts of destruction and violence. Whereas Quentin Tarantino, like, if someone gets shot in the leg, it's gonna, like, explode and they're gonna be in an insane amount of pain. It's like it's over the top, but it's also grounded in some sort of, like, you should be taking this seriously.
But it's
people really get hurt in Quentin Tarantino movies. They're like, You know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
talking about, like,
they're hurt.
they like, you know how many people actually was falling with horses, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like a real, they had to literally put no horses got harmed in the making of this film because of how, like, because I'm saying, but because of how, because there's plenty of movies with horses where even if one got shot or whatever, but like, these horses would get their brains blown out, falling over on top of people, breaking legs, whatever,
man,
you know what I'm saying?
That scene in the beginning when he shoots the horse in the head and the guy breaks
Right.
his leg, it's so
Right.
like,
Right.
you feel so like,
just in the middle of the woods,
Right.
snow.
yeah.
What you
like
about to say,
very-
Glenn?
I was gonna say, I believe the one thing that's accurate, that is the one thing that's really accurate, because I believe that the bullets or the guns back then were a lot bigger and more, a little more powerful than now, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it's not that they're more powerful, but when people get shot, they bleed. Like, that is a thing that happens, which is what I'm saying. Like, in movies, you don't really get to see a lot. Like, I remember being a little kid and being like, what's the big deal about getting shot? It looks like it's nothing. You know, it doesn't look like anything.
Because in a movie can make it look like it's not that bad.
Right.
Especially people get shot and keep going, you know.
Yeah. I mean, in one of the movies that we watched in Glory, you know, Captain Holt, Andre Braugher, he gets shot in the shoulder, and 2 days later, you see him with the hole bleeding, and he's out there like just hanging on, being cool.
Right,
you know?
being cool.
Yeah. But yeah, this movie, it's like this. Honestly, you know, Inglourious Bastards was like a special film for me. Like, when being a Jewish person, like having that revenge movie was so satisfying, right? Some of the scenes in Inglourious Bastards were so satisfying for me personally. This movie, Django, was more satisfying than Inglourious Bastards. The scene where he steals the whip and is whipping the slave master, and some of the symbolism, you know, just like I love the blood splattering on the cotton.
Oh yeah,
that's my favorite shot of the whole movie. That might be my favorite shot of any Tarantino movie.
Wow.
Is that you know, that blood splattering on the cotton, blood on the leaves, right? Kanye West like had that song that came out around the same time, Blood on the Leaves. That symbolism was so good, you know. And that's really the whole movie. That shot is the movie. It's And that's one thing I was going to add on to, like, the whole over the top, even because like I think Tarantino did a good job of, because like you even get the goriness with like the slave stuff, even, you know, the dogs ripping them apart, the Mandingo fighting, the whatever, you know what I'm saying? So you get the gory with that, but like once it's time for Django to be the hero, because he's the hero. Like this is basically a story that yes, it's kind of the love story because like he wants his wife, but like ultimately like you literally see a slave destroy a plantation, like the more powerful plantation, you know, every slave. It's a hero's journey. It's like I wouldn't call it a love story really at all. It's a hero's journey.
No, I say you see the love story. I'm saying with him going to get his wife, but I'm saying, but ultimately, like he literally takes down this plantation that is highly respected. Like he said, every slave knows about Candyland. So basically what I'm saying is once we get to the action part, I think Tarantino did a good job of now letting us enjoy the action part. Jamie Foxx, you know, shooting and flying out the door against the dude back, you know, hiding under the you know, under the bike. Right. Soon as he right to Tupac, right. Soon as he like grabs the gun in slow motion, you hear like the and you see like the, you know, like the bullet like hit the body where he just grabbed the gun from. I think all of that is good. Like you give us an enjoyable part. And then, okay, then boom, he gets stopped again. Now he got to give up. Now he's hanging upside down. Dude holding his meat. You know what I'm saying? Like he's back hard again. No, we're going to send him to this worst place. Okay, boom. And then now we get to see him use what he learned. Okay, boom. I got the bounty in my pocket. This is slick talk that the white dude talking. Blah, 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 blah. Because the white dude could get, I mean, granted, he was white. Dr. Schultz, he was white, but he was also very, very crafty with his words. Like he could just, you know what I'm saying, like do whatever. He just knew how to, you know, go about it, whatever. So like that was
that distinction that they make with him, where he's not just like a white dude. He's German. He's like not part.
Right. Which was so dope, Lonnie. I actually thought about you not that you would say this, but I thought about you in this scene that I thought that you would appreciate it. When they first sit down, the first town they go to, they're in the little saloon, they're drinking the beers.
That's my favorite scene.
And he's telling them, like, I'm not trying to take advantage of you because you're a slave, but I do need you. And so then the fact that you are a slave, I'm about to take advantage of you. Right? Like, you know, and I thought that was so dope. Like, I'm not going to whip you. I'm not going to, you know what I'm saying, whatever. But in this instance, I do need you to be my, you know, right-hand man, almost, if you will, slave, because I need to accomplish this bounty, and I know that you can help me get there. You know, and then, of course, you know, once the but I thought, man, I just thought that it was this movie was done very well, mainly because I never even noticed. I've seen this movie several times. I never even noticed that this movie was 2 hours and 45 minutes until I watched it this time, and not because it felt long. I just happened to look at it. I wonder how long Django is, because I think that you almost have to do that with a movie like this because you have so many great actors.
Right.
You can't just splash little cameos. Everybody needs time, because Samuel Jackson didn't even come into the movie until an hour, you know, and so in. You know what I'm saying? Like, so by the time these different characters get on screen, Tarantino gave time for them to allow their performance, you know what I'm saying, to have his moments.
Well, I think that's my favorite part about Tarantino is that he builds. He doesn't like rush through a scene.
Right.
Like that scene that you're talking about in the saloon in the beginning, they really like take their time. He's getting a beer.
They went through the sheriff and the marshal. Right.
The whole thing.
Right.
And then the whole movie is like building tension, right? Tarantino is this master of building these tense scenes that have these great payoffs usually, you know?
Right.
That shootout and, you know, the explosion and all these things, the sheriff and, oh, I think you guys owe me some money. Like, you know, they always have these really great payoffs. One of the underrated scenes, like, I mean, this movie is so good to me. I give it a perfect 10, honestly.
No,
okay. One of my favorite movies.
No, Django's lit. I love Django.
Is Big Daddy. Where they go to talk to Don Johnson, who even he is such a small part, but he is so perfect for it, you know, which leads to the Jonah Hill cameo and the like precursors to the KKK. I love that scene where the guy is pissed because his wife made the masks and they're ungrateful.
Right.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, that's really funny.
You're in the middle of this like horrifying scene of the KKK.
Absolutely.
And they have this funny like, you know, thing, ungrateful sons of bitches, and runs off.
Right.
But this movie, I mean, it's just so good. There's no scene. It's like Rudy said, it's 2 hours and 45 minutes, but there's no fat in this movie. Like every scene is necessary, is good, and takes its time. It's not rushing. This movie's not holding your hand. This movie's like, we're going to do this. You're along for the ride. And it's two and a half hours long plus, and you don't even notice it.
And it didn't drag either.
No, not at all.
Time either.
One of the things I liked about the movie is the fact that they actually, I can't remember the doctor
Schultz.
Dr. Schultz. He actually told the story of Django, but not. He was telling a story from I think of his culture.
Yes.
And I thought that
Bromilda or whatever, the name, the German name, and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, and the fact that it was the same story that we're watching, I was like, the first time I noticed that, I was like, wow, that's phenomenal. He told us what we're about to see, and then we actually see it. It's not like it's not like it was a weird thing for us to hear. It was like, Django heard this story. All right, if this guy can do it, I'm gonna go do it, you know? So
DA, one thing to look out for when you're watching movies from now on is whenever you're watching a movie and they're watching a movie inside that movie, or they're telling a story, or they are reading a book inside that film, that what they're watching or what they're reading or what they're telling the story is the story of the movie that you're watching. So that they're doing that on purpose. That's a common thing that's done. They're trying to give you an idea of what you're about to see.
Yeah, no. I just thought it was done beautifully here.
Yes, it was.
He was telling a little campfire story, you know?
Yeah.
It was a very heart-to-heart moment they had. I felt it was them really establishing and building their relationship, and then
Yes.
the fact that however many minutes later we actually see this whole story be played out in I guess real life for them. So.
Mm-hmm.
I think the monologues in this movie were like dope. Like Samuel L. Jackson had a couple monologues. And when I say monologue,
I'm sorry to cut you off real fast. I think Samuel Jackson's character was that's my personal favorite. Oh, snap, Belle though.
oh, yeah, she is gone. Whenever you're ready, I for me, I just got one more thing to say about Django. My favorite scene. I don't know if this was asked. Favorite character. I don't know. I like them all for their different reasons. But I would say. Say it again.
You can't like them all. It's either life or
No,
death.
I'm saying Dr. Schultz I thought was phenomenal. Leonardo DiCaprio I thought was phenomenal. I thought Samuel Jackson was phenomenal.
Life.
I really thought that like I thought everybody really fit the character and I thought it was very, very well cast.
I like Big Daddy. I thought Big Daddy was one of the best characters. I also thought Walton Goggins is incredible in this movie. Like he really shows up.
Yeah.
He was who?
Walton Goggins is the guy that like touches his dick when he's hanging upside down.
Oh yeah. Got you. But this is what I was gonna say. My favorite scene was the whole skull bashing, got her head down, and then when he hits the table and says soul, I thought that was so. I don't know if he did that or that was instructed, but I thought that choice of action was very, very like that was spot on in that moment because like you're hitting the table, so that gives you that scare of him smashing her head, right. But also. You know, like the auction, you know what I'm saying? Like the gavel, like that. I really just thought that whole scene was special. And even, of course, like the smash, the glass, the blood, you know, him smeared on, face with like all that stuff to me. Like, I really thought these people acted their ass off in this movie. Like, they really, really brought it.
Yeah, I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio would have won the Academy Award if Dr. Schultz didn't win the Academy Award.
They both were nominated together?
Were nominated, yep.
For what, like the...
supporting actor.
Supporting actor, gotcha.
And Christoph Waltz won before for Inglourious Basterds supporting actor as well.
Right. Nah, he's a beast.
So good. One of the best actors alive.
They weren't going to give it to Leonardo. They weren't going to do it. I don't know why, but...
Has he won one?
Yeah, he won for
the Revenant, right.
But I actually think he did much better in Django than he did in The Revenant.
Whoa. Yeah. Wow, that's a bold statement, man.
Is it? I don't think so.
Is it?
In the Revenant, he's getting his like ass kicked, and you really like he really did a lot of preparation and stuff. But the performance, I mean, him slamming the table, and he really cut his hands when he broke the glass by accident.
He ate a liver. They say he ate the liver for real, raw.
Okay, I mean, again, like he performed great feats of like endurance and human suffering, but the performance itself, I think, was Django.
Like him acting with words instead of acting a moment.
Yes.
I haven't even seen Revenant, but I thought it was just a lot of special moments that Leonardo brought out in Django. Like I said, even with that whole, this is the even with that whole monologue of like I always ask my question, why don't they ever kill us? You know what I'm saying? Like not only those words were deep, but how he acted that whole part out. You know how he described the 3 dimples in the back of the skull. Like all of these scenes. Yeah. Even with the dog being like the dog mauling the dude or whatever, and him just looking into Jamie Foxx's eyes, just seeing if he gonna break. You know what I'm saying? Like all of that stuff, like was very, very convincing. Very, very convincing.
You haven't seen The Revenant, Rudy. You can't comment.
I'm not saying that it's better. I'm just complimenting his acting in Django.
in the Revenant, this man is literally
He ate a liver. I got you.
no. I'm talking about. I guess really for me, it's the fact of watching him survive and him acting
Right.
survival.
Yeah.
The beautiful performance of him crawling to his son, who was buried. He wasn't. Was he buried? No, he wasn't buried. The son wasn't buried. His son died, and then he crawls over to him. You have to watch it. That's why I think that's a bold statement. I mean, they both are great performances, but I think the fact that
They're different. They're very different.
I think, like I said, I haven't seen it, but I think what you're looking at with The Revenant is because of the situation he was in and the dramatics of that. But when it comes down to because it's, and I'm not trying to say this to knock his performance, but like in most situations, a lot of people get nominated or win when like they're in the worst situation and they act when they're on the lesser. But like in Django, he was the the upper hand guy, if you will. Like he wasn't a slave, he was the slave owner. So like he performed that well as opposed to when you're put in a dark role, even like Monique, with Precious, like she was in a dark role. So like when somebody can really bring out a dark role, it gets more respect. But that doesn't take away from when you're not in a dark role and you still act your ass off, which is what happened in Django. So I think that's what the difference is.
Another thing about The Revenant is The Revenant was like the best film of that year, and his performance was the best performance of that year. So he deserved to win the Academy Award that year for sure. But Django, his performance in Django is probably one of the greatest scenes of all time. The scene of him slamming the thing, and also even the scene where they're in the Mandingo fight, where he's got the the coconut and he does that turnaround, and Leonardo DiCaprio is just like a force in the movie Django, and it's like crazy to think that a guy who had one of the greatest performances of all time is surpassed by someone in the same movie acting better. That's why this movie gets a 10 for me. It's like unbelievable movie.
See, I think the thing is for me, and this would be my last point about it. I think the thing is he's acting without words.
Yes, exactly. That's a great point, Dia. In The Revenant,
he's acting and he's living the situation, if you want to say, whereas he's performing this character.
Well, there's no point when you're watching The Revenant that you're ever like, I'm watching a movie. This is not. I'm like, you're really watching a man get eaten by a bear. Like you're really living the experience of a man taking his horse and jumping off of a cliff with his horse and like digging arrows out of himself. Like you're never at any point are you like, I'm watching a movie. This is bullshit. You're there.
Right. Gotcha. All right. Anything else for Django?
Leonardo DiCaprio, best actor of all time. Him and Denzel Washington are my two favorite actors in the whole world. So that's just me, though.
One thing I want to say, the only part of this movie that takes me out of Django, and I'm like, that's an odd choice, is Quentin Tarantino's Australian accent.
I think that took a lot.
I don't understand how that got through a whole production and not one person on set was like, maybe don't do that.
They probably shot it on the last day. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Everybody was just like, just let it okay, whatever.
All right. It's his movie. Let him do it.
Movie.
One thing. If you actually, there's this movie called A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Yes. Love it. Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah.
There's I believe it's at the end.
Django shows up.
Where Django shows up, I thought that was very funny and very beautiful as well. He shows up to a little game where you have to shoot runaway slaves, and he instead of shooting the slaves, obviously he shoots the game
And also, did you know that the horse is Jamie Foxx's horse? That's how they were able to do such like crazy stunts and stuff. That's his actual horse.
He grew up in
From
Texas. Yeah, he grew up in Texas. Yeah. Horses. Yeah, he's been doing that. Cause you could even tell him riding the horse by grabbing the hair, like, and just riding that. Yeah, like that was.
They actually had a saddle on that you can't see, so he is having a saddle, but still, it's very impressive the way he was riding.
Oh yeah.
No, for sure. All right, cool, man. Moving right along, let's go to See You Yesterday, directed by Stefan Bristol, starring Eden Duncan Smith, the young new actor, and I guess a host of other people as well. Count of three. Let's get those thumbs a-going. 1, 2, and 3. Oh, no, I didn't like, I'm sorry. I went the wrong way.
What?
You're in the middle?
Wow. I'm surprised.
I mean, 6 is close to not liking it, but see, and honestly, I'm the same way. I think that's why like even Bear had the sideways thumb, because like for me, I really wanted to like it. Like I wanted to like this movie so bad, and I was just like, and I'll go last time, but there was a couple things that took me out of it. But Bear, we'll start with you because I know we talk a lot, so.
Oh, no, it's okay. So for this, I really wanted to like it too. I remember seeing the trailer maybe like last year, and I was like reading the comments. People were like, yes, Black kids, sci-fi, science.
Right.
You know, like all in one, like it's going to be great. So I was excited for it too, especially because of the, you know, the message and like, you know, she's a kid trying to save her brother. But I think the main reason what took me out of it, like you said, there's a few things is,
You like the message?
Like, just the idea of her going back to save her brother who was killed by a cop. Because especially, like, you know, with the times and everything, like, it's like, okay, kids can relate to that. You know, well, that was the problem. I thought that this would be, like, a kid-friendly movie. I didn't realize it was TVMA.
that gory stuff getting her, Wes.
I'm sensitive. But, no, because watching the trailer, they made it seem like, okay, this is going to be a Nickelodeon bubblegum type thing. It's like, you know, like these kids. But then, like, her language, she was talking, I was like, hold up, it doesn't really fit her character because she looks so young and she's talking about, you know, jumping on that D and stuff. And I was like, oh.
Right? I was like, what the heck? What? Like, I thought y'all was just some kids, you know, like smart kids, you know, making a time machine. So that took me out a bit of a lot.
She sounded like somebody's mom. Like, I let my child watch this movie, okay? They were talking about jumping on D, people being killed.
A little background. So I'm the eldest of like 8 kids. So I thought, like, okay, this could be like a show I would watch with my siblings. Like, you know, relatable. But it's like, oh, no. So that was just confusing. And I feel like the main actress, I wish they gave her more levels, you know? She just kind of seemed like the B word the whole time. Just mean and it's like, she's also a kid, you know?
I think that was the movie's point, though. Keep her that way. Because although the ending is stupid,
I'm talking about so stupid.
She's never gonna try to. It's basically saying she's never gonna give up trying to save her brother or trying to fix the situation. And
but there weren't even.
Why was the ending stupid? Because it was ambiguous.
No, because because for one, number one. And I don't know if this is what you were saying, Belle, but like the character never had an arc. Like she pretty much stayed the same the whole
That's what I was saying. That's what
her wanting to save people she loved. That's a human reaction. Like, you know what I'm saying? My brother died. I go back to the past and get him. You know what I'm saying? But that it's not like she was the type of person saying, "Man, fuck this nigga," and then was like, "Oh, okay, let me go get him." Like that's just who she was. But she remained a bitch the entire time. And even at the end, like so we pretty much end with the brother standing up so that he dies instead of the kid, but then she tries to go back. That doesn't like, and then so now we see her running again to do what? Like, where was this movie trying to go, and where were we ending? Because
why was
Wait. No, wait.
I was gonna say, and why is the brother standing up and taking out the phone? The big reason he died.
I feel like he did that so that he could die maybe instead of the other kid or something.
The boy. That's what I thought too.
I'm saying, why did they choose to have it? What was he doing? Why did he take the phone out and point it?
Pretend it so that the cop would think he was reaching for a
Yeah,
gun.
For a gun.
because he knew the cop was shooting right.
Exactly.
They shot him after he was holding a phone like this. He was like, was he?
He missed the nuance. He pulled it up. I promise you, that's the point of it, is that he was going for a gun.
They mentioned it. They mentioned it. The news mentioned it earlier. They never showed him pull out. They just said the cops thought he had a weapon or whatever. Like the news mentioned it, so that was the one time they actually showed it. But that was him making a decision to do it, as opposed to pull it out and try to record or whatever like that. Like it was to try to say, oh boy, I just didn't get why we ended with her
going back to try to save him again,
running again, and I don't know. I don't know. But y'all go ahead. I'll say my comments for you. Lonnie, what you got?
I thought this movie was enjoyable. You know, it was like I really loved Michael J. Fox popping up in it. Because, when you're watching it, you're like, oh, okay, cool. It's like Back to the Future, contemporary with black kids in New York. And then, boom, there's Michael J. Fox. Like, almost as I'm saying that, Michael J. Fox pops in. What?
Lonnie, you like this a derivative of Back to the Future.
It was enjoyable. I mean, it's not my favorite
but
movie.
You don't like
okay.
the fact that some superhero movies are derivatives. You don't make any sense, Lonnie. I'm confused by you.
Let's see. Let me think about that. Let me think about why. I guess because this movie owned it. This movie was like, yes, we are doing Back to the Future in modern times.
We are doing Back in the Future.
And here is Michael J. Fox, who has Parkinson's disease and can barely move.
Way though.
Huh?
I think it did it in a terrible way. It didn't add anything to Back to the Future. It didn't build upon it. It kind of.
Yes, it did. Incorrect. This was Back to the Future with real stakes.
Really?
Like, this is Back to the Future in modern times with modern day implications in a modern setting that we can all relate to. Do you relate to Back to the Future? Are you a skateboarding kid that lives at the mall? You know what I mean? Like, this is a real movie that deals with real issues. Back to the Future did not.
I will say, even with the real issues, I knew her brother was gonna get killed, and she was gonna have to go back and get him way before.
Let me say this. This movie did not do things very well. There was some gaping plot holes. But here's one. Right. So you and me and Rudy, we just invented time travel, and we're worried about a high school science fair. As if they're talking about and I'm like, you two are the next Albert Einstein.
Right.
Like, you've done it. You are now billionaires.
Right.
It's over. Like, you do not like. They're like, oh, well, maybe we'll get the NASA internship. I'm like, lady, they're going to build you a NASA.
Right.
You just got your own
Mount Rushmore
of the Pentagon. I don't think you understand. I was like, how are they not? I turned to Lauren and I'm like, do they not understand what they just did?
And to add to yours, Lonnie, they also had a side job as helping people's computers, reprogram.
Right.
Like,
which I also thought,
they didn't really.
Here's the thing: is this was like a Nickelodeon level film, but for some reason it was TVMA. It did not. It was like tone.
Exactly.
The tone was off. But I thought it was like a Nickelodeon movie. It was like a movie that could have been made for Disney or something like that. But then they're cussing, and it was like, okay, this is a little.
Exactly.
It was also like. It was also dumb how she threw she's back in time and what she wants to do is throw a slushy. Like, I thought that there were problems with the movie. But I enjoyed it. I really did. I liked it.
And if this was a Nickelodeon movie, if they would have stuck with that theme, they could have gotten away with those different things. Because if you think about, like, you've seen Big Fat Liar, like, it's very unrealistic that they're living, you know, on Universal Studios lot or whatever in, like, the costume show, you know. But let it go because this is a kiddie movie. It's just move along with it. But like you said, but when she had an attitude problem, she fighting, she cussing, they were, you know what I'm saying? Like, people, you know, and one thing that I can never stand in movies that deal with black people in any hood, I cannot stand watching black people try to act like thugs, and it is a very bad depiction. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, certain, like it's almost like a white dude showed them, like, okay, this is how I want you to do it, and they were like, okay, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Trying to do like some old, like, you know, because I've seen movies that, you know, and not in that they were necessarily thugs, but just their whole demeanor, it didn't seem like they were trying to act like they were from a certain side of town. They just kind of just fit. You see a pretty good job of it in Moonlight. You see a pretty good job of it in I was just thinking about the movie. I forgot that fast. But either way, like when you oh, that's what I was thinking. Fruitvale Station is another good one. Like his friends, like they didn't try to seem over the top. They just were who they were. You know what I'm saying? They hollered at chicks, whatever. But these dudes was just, you know, like her brother got like the pizza hat on, and he didn't graduate high school or whatever it was. So that makes him like, you know, Suge Knight. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not a thug like that, a killer. Like, you know, what puts him in that category? If you keep it light, you keep it Nickelodeon, time travel, whatever, I think you get away with a lot more stuff. And then my one last thing, at least for now, is, in my opinion, I think it would have been more of a thing to me if she would have figured out how to get back in time after her brother got killed. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, just them trying to, like, time it up and not run into themselves or whatever, and then, you know, I already knew the little boy was going to get killed. Like, that just wasn't exciting enough for me at that point.
And then
you know
eventually
like,
they got to a point where they're like, it's getting too confusing, so we've got this new piece of equipment now, so we're no longer going to be running into our old selves. That to me was also like, okay, guys, it's like a little bit like, almost like a student film. You know, let's just move on.
They got confused while they were typing. They was like, oh, what are we talking about now? Let's just add this on.
Someone like came in and was like, wait, we've got a big problem. Like, no, we'll just invent a computer board, and it's fine.
Right.
Okay, go with it. That's fine. We're too late. We're too deep.
My biggest problem with the movie is that it started halfway. It started at 40 minutes. The movie, if the brother didn't die until like 30 minutes into the movie, and then that's when they actually go back in time around the 40-minute mark, which is stupid. We spent so much time developing. I mean, I got the whole scene when they're in the shop, but why do we need to make it that long?
There was also a part of the movie where they had invented time machine that like the expo had passed. It was like months in the past, and their lives were the same. They were like still going to the
literally.
Yeah, no.
I was like, you don't have time for this because you're in interviews with the president. Like, what are you doing?
Right. And let me tell you what drove me crazy, because I didn't know this going into it, and I just clicked on it. When I seen the fucking Spike Lee shot in the fucking movie, I literally just went, because I didn't know he produced it. I didn't see that until afterwards. Like, as soon as I seen it, I didn't even have to look. I was like, I know this nigga did. I know he did not sneak his shot into this movie. Unnecessary. Totally unnecessary. It was no purpose for that shot in this movie. But it's like, yo, this is my movie, so we got to put it on the card.
I gave the money.
Let him try. Huh?
No, I was just saying, he gave the money. He gets the
right. No, he definitely. It's just like Tarantino was like, yo, I'm an Australian today. I am doing this liquidity split, whatever, mining company or whatever the fuck it was. He was like, I guess, we'll probably do it one day. We'll make a movie and be like, nah, I want to do this. And they like, Rudy, don't, nah, I'm doing it.
Are you gonna tell him no? You gonna tell him
right,
no?
right. But like I said, I really wanted to like this movie. I thought it was a good attempt, poorly executed movie. So like I said, I understand this the 5-6 area with your vote, Lonnie, because like I said, it wasn't like I think I enjoyed this more than I did Beats. You know what I'm saying? Just as a right.
This was watchable.
Right, exactly.
First of all, look, I got to jump in now. First of all, Beats did a better job with its message. Second, I think this was trying to.
I'm sorry I brought it up. I'm sorry I brought it up.
It did a great job of its message. Where if you want to get out of the hood, you got to rap.
That is not the message. Go back.
Great message.
Go back.
That was definitely the message.
It's about,
And it wasn't even the message they were trying to say. It was just the unintentional message of that shitty, god-awful movie.
Oh my God. Way better. This was. See, my problem.
Infinitely more watchable. I would watch this 100 times before I watch Beats again.
I don't care.
Infinitely better.
Hey, I thought this was a better movie.
So I gave this movie a 5, but the Michael J. Fox thing bumped it up to a 6.
Look at the whole problem with this movie is that I feel like they didn't have I feel like they didn't have fun with it. They didn't let this be a black person sci-fi. They made it this is a political sci-fi. Because why can't we just I understand that we as the black culture we deal with problems, yes, but why couldn't we just have a fun moment in life? Why couldn't
I think that was the whole
That's valid.
thing. I think the whole slushy in the face was but see people are trying but see I don't think it was about that. I think people are trying to find new ways to tell dark stories, because like even with the whole antebellum thing, I was saying I had just recently watched that, and the main problem people have with it is it's low key like another slave movie. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I'll let y'all watch it to get your own perspective. But so when people are just kind of tired of seeing like the black people in the negative light, which is what you're saying. But that's why they tried to use this whole world. We have black kids in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, were they in Bed-Stuy or no? They were in Flatbush.
They were in
Flatbush.
Flatbush.
They were Flatbush.
No, they were in the Bronx, where Lauren grew up. She like recognized a lot of it. That was a cool part of it too.
But I think I remember specifically them having something that said Flatbush. I'm like almost 100%
Flatbush
sure.
Avenue.
I don't know. Either way, but they were in
the Bronx Institute of Science, which is where Miles Morales goes in Spider-Man. It's a very famous school.
Gotcha. I'm saying, but these are kids in the hood that are not, like they got their own little side hustle, but it's fixing stuff. They're smart, like they got all this terminology. So like,
just to give you an idea of like how smart these kids are, obviously, I mean, they go to probably the best high school in the country, like one of the best high schools in the country. And
that's what I'm saying. So like, the filmmakers are trying to put them in a good light, but still address tragedies, basically. You know what I'm saying? And so to your point, DA, I do get that, but I think they just tried to cover the basis of it being a good thing, because we do have these kids who are not in the best situation, but they are brilliant. They've invented, like Lonnie said, time travel, which they could have been billionaires in real life, you know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. But once we get to the problem past all of that, it still is the fact that police brutality, whatever, that's going on in that neighborhood.
With this movie is they are taking these very serious issues, but they're presenting them to children. They're presenting them with like, this is a movie about time travel, a Nickelodeon vibe. And when young black kids are young white kids, 11, 12 years old, are watching this film, they're like, oh, okay, time travel, these people are going to use time travel to address this thing. They could do whatever they want. They could go back and rob a bank, or they could go and, play pranks and do funny things. But no, we're going to deal with like serious shit. Right. I don't know if you guys caught this, but the reason that her brother died was because she went back and threw the slushy. Like he broke his arm. If not, maybe they would have thrown hands at the barbecue and gotten arrested. It could have gone totally different. But I was like, oh, that was a thing that they didn't really talk about. But she broke his arm, which made him not be able to fight. And I was like, oh, they could have spent. I think they could have spent a little bit more time on maybe just going back and not throwing the slushy. Like maybe that was the
because that would have helped the character arc, because that would have played into her whole bad attitude thing. But they never stayed on the fact that she had a bad attitude. It didn't even become about that. It just became about if we do everything right in a certain amount of time and we get here first, then we can stop. But it never dealt with her attitude.
The movie was basically, let's see what happens when this very irresponsible young lady has access to time travel.
Right. All right, let's move right along.
That's a great point. Okay. Like that could have been a great character arc for her. That was definitely a missed opportunity.
Yeah. No, for
definitely.
Sure.
See, they should have had us write this fucking script.
You guys bullshitted this just like they bullshitted us with this movie. I just want you guys to know. It's okay, though.
Who did what now?
I wish they would have used the machine in this movie to go back to the table read of Beats and throw that script in
They keep showing up right when the table reads over. Like, all right, we're done, guys. They're like, fuck.
Bill, have you seen Beats?
No, I haven't.
Don't watch it.
Oh my God.
It's on Netflix?
It's on Netflix, yeah.
Go watch it, and you tell me if it's better or not.
You like it, Daryl?
Message, yes. It's not like a mind-blowing movie. It's a better movie than this, yes, indeed.
Okay. Well, anyways.
And they don't
watch it at your own risk. All right. So, last but not least, we got Glory. Director Edward Zwick, starring Denzel Washington, Morgan Freeman, Matthew Broderick, so on and so forth. So let's go.
Freeman, the oldest man of acting.
Morgan Freeman was old even in this movie. This was 1989.
Dude, Morgan Freeman didn't get famous before he was, I think he was 40-something years old when he got discovered.
I thought it was 50.
Yeah, I mean, he was very old when he got discovered.
He was 75 in this movie.
My thing is,
in real life.
How old is he now?
I think he's about that age. I think he's about 75, 8, almost, high 70s.
So let's do quick thumbs real quick. Thumbs up, thumbs down. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Belle hesitated. Wait.
She don't say it's gory. She don't like the violence. A war movie.
Yeah.
No, it was good. It was a good cast. It was good. And I wish I saw it when I was younger, because when I was watching, I was like, I can see, which is crazy that you guys said you saw it in like the 8th grade, because I hit the nail on the head. I was like, I can see someone watching this as a kid and thinking, wow, this is like a great movie. But it's different seeing it in 2020 now, so I have to remember like the time that they shot it in and everything. Right. That does make a big difference. But for me, it was a little slow. Not going to lie. That's
a bold statement, right?
I didn't really like
find
the
this
main
movie
character.
slow.
I didn't really like the main character. What's his real name? I kind of forgot it.
Matthew Broderick?
No, his name is, I believe it's Robert Gold Shaw.
Robert Gold Shaw. Oh, in this?
I'll let you know.
Well, his real name is Matthew Broderick, but the character is Robert Gold Shaw, who's a real person.
Yes. For him, I get it. He was supposed to be like weak, right? Like, he had his parents help him through everything. He came off as weak, like just a weak captain. Completely to me. Yeah.
Why?
And I didn't watch this alone. I didn't watch this alone. So other people.
I get what you're saying. I don't know if weak is the right word for it, but like he was definitely thrust into a situation that before he was ready. But in the sense of him.
Hold on. One thing I want to say.
Sorry, guys. I know y'all
he was 24.
Right, 23, I think. Yeah, 23, 24.
He was 24 years old and made a colonel.
Right, a colonel, right.
Rudy, right. You're in the Army. You met a colonel?
Well, mainly because my girlfriend's mom was one, but outside of that,
okay,
no.
Your girlfriend's mom. Your girlfriend's mom.
Right, no, because a colonel is just one rank below general. So, and then, So, and he was put over this all black, army. So I mean, like he definitely had a lot So but I think he was more unsure and just kind of thrust into a new situation more than I would use the word weak. To your point,
I got a different vibe. It seemed like he wanted to be over, the Black Army, to like prove himself in a way, because he fell on the ground that time and he let like a lot of people die. He didn't help a lot of people, so I kind of felt like, okay, is he trying to like redeem himself?
So a little bit of background: that first battle is called the Battle of Antietam, and it's the deadliest day in American history. So I don't know how much help he would have been necessarily.
Yeah, they were losing bad. He was just hoping to stay alive.
Oh, yeah, they just walking.
Well, so he didn't even. Well, yeah, see, in battle back then, that's how it was. It's just like we're just walking. Somebody gets shot, boom, whatever. They got to reload all that. But like, after that battle was over, I don't even think he knew he was alive until Morgan Freeman came and like woke him up. You know what I'm saying? To see if he even bury him or not. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think he was a young soldier, and like Lonnie said, he got thrust into the whole colonel position, and so I just think he had to learn, which was his character arc. He had to learn to just be more and more sure in that role, but he was also learning a lot, because if you hear in his letters, he's like, Mom, like, and Dad, like these Black people, like, like when it's time to work, like they have this seriousness, but when they're by themselves, like they sing songs, they do this, like,
I like that part of it.
Right. So I think like he was basically like he did have a little, I don't say shelteredness to him, but like he was more privileged in the sense of who he was in charge of, because compared to the slaves, he definitely had the way better life. So he was able to learn from them, but he also had to just learn that position. Like, so even when he was being mean to his friend Thomas, or just not necessarily being mean, but just being more stern, or saying don't fraternize with, whatever like that, like you could tell he was uncomfortable with making those decisions, but he knew he had to in order to accomplish a certain thing. Like, and that's why even with the whole, like, I love the scene with the dude from South Carolina who stuttered. He's like, load the rifle faster, and he's shooting the gun in his ear or whatever. You're like that. Like that scene, I mean, first of all, those two actors did a phenomenal job in that scene. Yes. But that scene is so important because that shows him, even him doing that.
Yeah, like tough love in a way.
Right. It bothered him internally, but he knew that he knew like what battle looks like. And if we don't actually take this serious, like this could be bad if we actually do get,
they were all like goofing around with the guns.
Right.
And then Matthew Broderick's like, I don't think you guys understand. A guy's head exploded in front of me. Like, you guys have no idea what you're getting ready for. And then Carrie Elways, the other officer, is like kind of goofing around with them. Like, they're all watching him shoot, and he's like, enough of this. You guys need to get ready for war. Right, because it's not going to be fun and games. Like, very quickly, you're going to find out.
Can we just take a moment and just give this man Denzel Washington some love? This man stood there. He stood there. It was like,
when he
taking the hits, and this man. Oh my God! The fact that that one tear is the best way.
They really whipped him.
That whole scene, I'm sure, because Kerry Washington really got whipped in Django.
They have a special whip that doesn't cut you.
Right.
But I actually read about this. So the director was just about to call cut, but he got like distracted and he turned his head, and that is the exact moment that Denzel shed the tear.
Right.
I'm sure. He won the Academy Award for this movie, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that scene is what won it. I think that scene right there is what took him over the edge.
I think it was the scene. I think it was that scene, but also I think it was the scene where he was leading the prayer too. That he acted his ass.
Yeah. I think that's what probably just like put the cherry on top. That scene right there. Yeah. But I think what made his real argument, because like even with that whip scene, once he realized like. Because he almost had like a non-verbal disagreement with him. Like once he realized he was actually gonna whip him, like the way he threw his shirt off, it was like, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? He spit on the ground, like I'm not gonna let y'all break me. Like, you want to sit here and try to treat me like this? Like, I'm gonna show y'all you know what I'm saying, like what it is to you know, I've been through more than what it is you're trying to,
He said
you know, punish me
so
for whatever.
much. That scene,
Yeah.
you know, DA, you were talking about how Leonardo DiCaprio did a lot
Acting without words.
without talking.
Right.
I mean, that those eyes told a lifetime of story.
And that's why I think that's to kind of piggyback on your point there. I think that's why acting without words like surpasses performing with words or a monologue, this dialogue, because your whole body language. I mean, if you look at Denzel, his whole body language was like, "Man, fuck you."
And I think that tear was more of like disappointment and hurt more than it was the pain of his back. It was kind of more like, you know, like the fact that this is really happening, because he knew he left like for a good reason. He was trying to get some shoes. You know what I'm saying? And like, and I think, like, I just think it was more or less of that moment hurt him more than it was the actual lashings. You know what I'm saying?
And also the fact that he had escaped slavery, but is now also in bondage.
Still, right, exactly.
By the saviors.
Like a new form of slavery.
Exactly.
Matthew Broderick is also now dealing with this like reality of like, maybe we're not so much better than the South. Oh, it's like this movie.
Then the people who they fighting against. Right.
I felt like they did miss an opportunity when their first battle, not the one where they went and burned down the town, but the one right after that.
James Island.
Yeah. They had an opportunity to, when Denzel Washington got saved by the dude with the glasses. I can't remember his name.
Andre Bauer. He's Captain Hulk from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But when he got saved from there, I felt like that moment, it should have been the Colonel instead of the guy you said.
Well, remember the Colonel and Denzel Washington they don't really have a relationship at that point. There's nothing to like mend. Whereas like Denzel Washington and Andre Bauer are like at odds with each other.
Yeah,
the whole movie.
I know. I just felt like that moment. I felt like that moment right there could have been the very break of the relationship. That's.
But
to be fair though, they did that in such a like
with the checks, with the money.
They get married together. I mean,
so when they got what?
Washington is literally laid with his head on Matthew Broderick's chest. Like the symbolism of that was.
I think it was an even powerful moment than as opposed to him stabbing him, when Denzel Washington led the charge as far as like not taking less pay and tore up the checks, and then Matthew Broderick joined them and tore up his check as well. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So I think they did a good job of showing the transition and how they were on two different sides, and even though they didn't necessarily like hate black people or whatever, you know, like Thomas was a black friend, you know, like, but they still were realizing like, oh, but we're still like shitting on these black people in some form or fashion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they were.
You know what?
I also love the scene with Morgan Freeman where Morgan Freeman gets the promotion and he's like, I don't know if I want this. Right. And he's like,
I know how you feel. Yeah, I know how you feel exactly.
I think it's very funny that I don't know if you guys ever watched any movie where they say the word nigga with the subtitles. With the subtitles, they say nigger, and I always feel like it's very funny because they're saying in the movie they're saying nigga, but I think that's very funny. It's not like.
Well, I wonder if back then was there the same distinction as there is now.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
back then meaning like whether the movie is set or you mean 89 when it was shot?
In the 1800s, like were black people. I know black people in media are portrayed as saying to each other.
Right.
And it might just be their accent that instead of the ER, they're saying the A. But I don't know if it was necessarily a different. Like they might have just been using it the same way that the white slave masters were using it. I don't know if they knew the difference. Right. They were using it as a form of empowerment.
No. I'm not saying what the word meant. I'm saying the spelling. I'm saying the spelling of the word. Even nowadays, you know, with movies that are, I guess, current in current time. They have the N, they have the ER instead of the A, which I find very weird, only because they are saying the A instead.
So I watched that show, The Wire, and I had the subtitles on because it's like it can be hard to understand. And throughout the whole show, it's ER. Black people are calling each other ER.
Right.
And in one scene, a white dude says hard R, and the subtitle was with an A. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
What? I gotta watch it with the subtitles. I gotta watch that one.
I'm not typing that. No, that's
This
funny.
was such a good, oh my God. Who suggested this movie? Rudy, right?
Yeah.
What a beautiful movie, man. I mean,
yeah.
So we had talked about some of the trivia that I have for you guys because I'm a white nerd, and this is a war, so I've got trivia, of course.
Right.
So Denzel Washington his character is based on the first black man to ever win the Medal of Honor for leading the charge, picking up the flag and leading the charge. Mm-hmm. God, there was another thing that I said before the podcast. Do you guys remember what it was?
I think you talked about the main character, if I believe.
Well, yeah. So he was 24 in real life when he became colonel. Died when he was 25. But that scene, this was a missed opportunity for me. Was so the Confederate soldiers, they buried him with the black soldiers as an insult. An officer was supposed to have a special burial, and they buried him with his soldiers.
I thought that
as an insult. So when his parents found out about his death, his parents actually refused to relocate his body, saying that that's where he would have wanted to be buried with his men, and that was the greatest honor that he could possibly have in his death. Right. So I thought that was, his parents were abolitionists. They were very they were also like the equivalent of modern day billionaires. They were extremely wealthy. So this movie was just so powerful, man. It was such a good movie.
Yeah, I was.
As I was watching this movie, I couldn't help but think about a 9. Really, I thought you were giving this.
So my 10s are reserved for there's 6 movies that get a 10. And it's personal. It's all personal preference for me. But Glory, I don't think I could watch Glory 100 times.
That makes sense. Right. I don't think you can watch any not a period piece 100 times.
Well, I've seen Django probably. This was my 15th time watching it.
Although Django does it's technically a period piece. I'm talking about more, I guess, not biopics, but historical.
Based on a true story type of situation or whatever, right? I get you. Because Django was more fictional. It was a period piece, but it was just an idea more than it was.
Oh, also, one thing that was very cool that they kind of touched on, I guess another reason this movie gets a 9 for me is where it ends. So this movie ends at the Battle of Fort Wagner. Once Matthew Broderick's character dies, that regiment continued fighting. They did not stop there. And they do kind of touch on it in a written thing at the end of the movie, but the word got back to the War Department and President Lincoln that this regiment had done so well. And then all 180,000 black people volunteered to fight for the Union Army, which won them the war. So this unit really kind of won the Civil War, if you think about it.
Right.
Which is gigantic. Black people won the Civil War, and do we talk about that in fucking history? No, we don't talk about it.
Right. And these were slaves at that. They weren't just black people. These were slaves. Yeah.
Slaves. That scene also where Morgan Freeman talks to the little slaves in South Carolina, and he's like, "You're not dreaming. We're back. We came back. We ran away, but we're back."
Yeah. We're back fighting men. Yeah.
That's why we're giving it a 9, Lonnie. What the world?
This movie was definitely great for me. Like I said, I remember thoroughly enjoying it even as a kid, somewhere around the age of, say, from 9, 10, 11, 12, something like that. And then even now as an adult. Like I still enjoyed it.
I also thought I remembered it wrong. I remembered them all getting killed, but they.
I did too. That's so crazy you said it. I was like, dang, I don't remember. I really had forgot all about like Morgan Freeman them like running around and then the last little whatever. But like in my mind, I remember them all getting killed as they were approaching. Like I never even remember them even getting that far.
I thought they all try to pick up the flag. Like Denzel Washington goes and gets killed, and then Morgan Freeman goes and gets killed. Like I had it in my mind that they were all going to get killed trying to pick up the flag.
Right.
But they didn't. I guess I remembered that scene where, they get cannons shot at them, but we don't necessarily see them dying. We don't necessarily see them all getting killed. And they did. They didn't. Only 29 of that
Can I
unit
ask
got
you
killed.
something? Do you guys feel like this was like a big FU to the movie called, I don't know if you guys seen it, but Birth of a Nation?
This movie came out way before Birth of a Nation, though.
Well, which Birth of a Nation are you talking about? Are you talking about the original one or the new one? The original one, of course.
I didn't see it.
Maybe it could.
You wouldn't have seen it. It's like from 1929.
Right.
But it's about how like the Ku Klux Klan are like these great people that save young white women from scary black men, and how the Ku Klux Klan is so great and wonderful, and
it's a hard watch.
Gotcha.
But I mean, I think this movie is like that. This is the reality of what happened.
Right.
Whereas like Birth of a Nation is this like white glorification of changing history.
Right.
And also then you've got Django, which shows the Ku Klux Klan as well, which is also like a big fuck you to Birth of a Nation.
Right.
For sure.
For sure.
It's kind of weird that we chose three movies that built on race.
Yeah.
I know someone mentioned two, but I think if you think about it, See You Yesterday, it's talking about race as well.
Yeah, sure.
For sure.
All right, cool, man. Well, let's get into these budgets and box office real quick so we can wrap things on up. So See You Yesterday, I'm just going to tell you, I couldn't find the budget for it, and it didn't have a box office release, so I just got the Rotten Tomato scores for audience and critics. So we'll just guess both of those. So we can actually start with that one. See You Yesterday. For the audience score, what do you think the audience rated it on Rotten Tomatoes for See You Yesterday?
I want to say, you said audience, right? I want to say the audience probably gave it like 78.
78%?
I'm going to say 55 audience score.
55%?
I'm going to go with 35. I'm going to go with
35%. Well, she may not be good with money just yet, Lonnie, but she definitely got you on the percentages because it's 37.
Wow.
What?
37%. And then the critics score. What do you think the critics gave them?
55.
55?
I feel like the critics loved it, so I'm going to go with 78.
78?
I'm going to go with 66.
78's not loving it. 78, that's not loving it. That's like kind of okay. But okay, 78, you said 66?
Mm-hmm.
All right. It is actually, the critics gave it a 95%.
Yeah.
95.
They
That's
did that
loving
with
it.
Beats, too.
Yeah, yeah. It's quite the opposite. All right. Now let's do Django. So what do you think the budget was for Django?
Pure beef, I'm going to say I'm going to go with 100 million.
100 million?
And that's a lot.
I'm going to go with let's go with 85.
85?
Oh, man. I'm going to go with 50 million. That was my first thought, so I'm going to go with that. 50
million? Gotcha. Well, it's a lot of stars in this movie. It actually was 100 million on the head.
Yeah.
Ooh.
100 million on the head. I mean, they blew up a whole house. They put it. Like, yeah, this
I
movie
mean, it's
definitely cost.
3 hours of costumes and
Yeah.
Leonardo
That's
DiCaprio and
true.
horses
That's a lot.
and
Yeah, it's a lot.
no
I'm
all
sure
practical effects, no computer.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, then what do you think it made in the box office?
450 million.
450.
Yeah, I'm gonna go pretty high as well.
Yeah, me too. 500 million.
500.
I'm gonna go as high as say, because a lot of people love this movie, so I'm gonna go as high as 720.
720 million. It actually made $425.4 million in the box office.
Try to give it the benefit.
Yeah, you went a little too high. It's not a Marvel movie. Jesus Christ.
This is me putting on my yarmulke.
He's back in action. All right. Last but not least, we got Glory. What do you think the budget was for Glory?
What year was it?
1989.
89.
I'm gonna say the budget for Glory was like 20. Let's say like 22.5 million. 22.5.
22.5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with
I'm gonna go with 50.
50 million.
You're going with 50? Okay, that was my first choice, but I'll go with 33.
33. The budget for Glory was $18 million.
Wow.
18 million. Which is a little shocking for me. I honestly would have thought it'd been just a little bit higher, just even with the amount of people that was in it.
So I think the reason they were able to save money is because they used reenactors who brought their own costumes and equipment.
That's what I was thinking, but I didn't. I didn't know.
Yeah. I'm saying it just was a lot going on in Glory. So I didn't think it was like 100 million, but I did. I was surprised when I seen 18. That was a. But anyway, so
I just felt like Denzel Washington was a little bit bigger at the time, so I thought he was getting money, you know.
No, I think this was one of his first major projects.
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't that.
Really?
He was. I mean, he was Denzel nonetheless, but he wasn't like. No, he wasn't that big.
I don't think he was doing huge movies yet. Like he hadn't done Philadelphia or any of those like really ones that made him.
So you're probably saying that this was like his big
breakout.
Mm-hmm.
If not this one, it was somewhere around it. Definitely close to it. So for sure. But what do you think? So what do y'all think the box office was?
50
million.
100
million.
I'm gonna go with 75.
75 million. Too bad you guys didn't buy all those tickets because it only made 27 million in the box office.
Wow.
Yeah, same thing I said. The glory number surprised me on the budget and the box office. I was shocked on both.
It's probably because a lot of people don't want to. A lot of people prefer Birth of a Nation.
Right.
Did you laugh?
89, they were like, we are not going to see this shit.
We are
not
those people.
Right, yeah. It's probably definitely been more watches on the latter end of it than when it first came out, I'm sure. So that makes sense. Okay, cool, man. Well, yeah, that's 3 movies. Belle, we appreciate you joining us. Do you have anything that you want to tell us about in reference to like promotion-wise? Like you got websites, Instagrams, podcasts, Flat Tummy Tea.
I'm weak. You guys can follow me on Instagram at Belle Peppa. Get it?
Belle. Somebody get it?
Peppa.
We
Go
get
some stuff on there.
How do you spell the pepper? Is it just P-E-P-P-A or?
P-E-P-P-A-H. And then Belle is like on the screen. B-E-L-L-E.
Gotcha. Belle Pepper. Dope, man. We definitely pep out. Right. We definitely appreciate you joining us. Please feel free to come back anytime. Lonnie Cox, we see you with the Cox Comedy down there at the bottom. Follow him at Cox Comedy on Instagram. RudyComedy.com for myself. DA, and you can say yours because you got 1,000 underscores in yours.
We got 2. D_A_Henry. Follow me.
D_A_Hen_re_ something like that. All right. And of course, man, No Light Voice Productions is where we post this every single Thursday. And yeah, that's it, man. We'll have another guest every single week. We'll have more movies. And if you guys haven't seen Antebellum, you know, find somebody who paid for it and watch it with them. I wouldn't pay for it. But anyway, this has been great. It's been fun. DA, good job. Lonnie, good job. Once again, Belle, we appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.